F1 is back for 2024, but it's starting on a Saturday. What? So the first three races are on a Saturday. How did this come about? Or actually, never mind. F1 is back. You happy or you're still in the 2023 mode?
I feel good. I feel good about this season. I think that it's interesting when you look at 2023 because a lot of the teams that started good in the beginning faltered at the end. And then a lot of
Yeah.
the teams that had and then the reverse was obvious, you know. It was like for a team like McLaren, they came from literally out of nowhere in that second half of the season and
Correct.
ended up having one of the greatest comeback years ever. So, like this is what I think these new regulation, these new changes and stuff like that. I feel like it'll take a little bit more time, especially when upgrades start to come out. Um, I think that previous years we've actually discounted upgrades a little bit. It can
Yeah.
season a lot, but not to this degree. Not to where you can literally put out a new car and if you're a team like for example like McLaren and you've got enough funding and you've got a lot of cash to kind of go through, you can really put in a very very good car out for that second half of the
But
season.
that's what's surprising because now with the budget cap, I would think that these things would be even more impossible.
Oh
But for
yeah,
some reason, I don't know how. Like they just managed to recreate within the budget. They got close to overspending, but I think a lot of teams didn't actually reach their budget limit last year. They just had
okay.
a second iteration.
Yeah, yeah. So it's interesting to see this stuff, but like I think also at the same time, it's pure entertainment because you get to because now this midfield battle becomes even more a bigger question, and
Yeah.
it also requires you to keep putting a step up with your upgrades, and this is where I think this midfield battle is it looks I think that there's tiers to this though. I definitely think this Ferrari, Mercedes, and I'm gonna chuck in McLaren also now up there. I think that battle is kind of on a different level than compared to when you look at. I think Aston Martin
Yeah.
have not looked the best. They kind of had just a freak start last year with so many podiums. Alonso was driving the hell out of that car. And then now it doesn't really look like it. It looks like I think now it's like they're looking at like around like fifth and yeah, probably fifth in the constructors. So
You know what's surprising
yep.
is Alpine. Apparently, from 2024 testing, whatever we've seen,
Mm-hmm.
not only were they slow, but the things that weren't revealed and were talked about later in the forums and across the news, technical analysis, the car has no aerodynamics. It's the slowest in a straight line,
Yep.
so that's performance gone, and it's still overweight. So they're
Oh,
already firing. They're saying that some of the biggest guys in Alpine's aero department are walking out the door right now,
okay, okay.
like just before the start of the season.
That's just horrible, man. That's see because issues like that is what can really bring Alpine from where they are right now to really getting lower and then start to maybe even like look into like where I don't know now we've got some new teams and stuff like that where the Sauber team is or something like that where AlphaTauri is. I think that's where I always place Alpine a little bit above those because I think they're more consistent
Yeah, I thought so.
and their drivers are more consistent with that. But I also think this is actually so interesting because when you come look at all the drivers are the same from last season.
Yes,
All the drivers are the same. So I think I don't know how many years this has been like.
they're the same from the middle of last season. Don't forget Mr. De Vries is.
Oh yeah. I don't know if it's a
But
sad departure or a necessary departure. It's like kind of it's because I feel like it's like shows the ruthlessness of the Red Bull program, but also at the same time, I'm like he didn't get a single he didn't get any points, right? No points. Right?
no, nothing. He barely got anything. So it was, and he was getting outraced by almost everyone but Logan Sargent. That's not a high bar.
I'm actually expecting big things from Logan Sargent. I think this Williams looks not great right now. I think also Williams is one of those teams that benefits more from in season once there's
Yes, yes.
once they have data to kind of support and back up because they're a super data driven team now with James kind of leading everything. I think they just need more time and things like that. So I think Albon and Logan Sargent, I feel they could do some repeat performances of where they're fighting a little bit more for points and stuff like that, especially Albon. So because I think that Williams, if you push it, has the capability of getting into has the
I
capability
think they can.
of us getting into points. So
I
um
think so.
definitely possible. All right,
You were
okay.
talking about Sauber, right?
Yeah.
That thoughts on that livery, the neon green with the
Uh,
carbon.
so bad. It's so bad. It's the worst livery. I
I
hate
like the color though. I really like the color.
No, I mean, okay, the colors are actually, I think they're okay. I think for if you're gonna put a neon color out, okay, cool, whatever. But I think the worst thing is the branding. I don't like it.
Yeah.
All the logos and branding, like the stake, all that, like all the I think it's like
Kick
yeah,
Sauber.
yeah, kick
Why would
Sauber.
you name your
It
team Kick
sounds
Sauber?
it sounds like super like kiddish almost. So I'm not a huge fan
I'm
of
sorry, that's kiddish. What about Visa Cash App Red Bull team?
RB. And people just say just call it RB. That's it. So
No, it's just Taro Rosso. Come on, they even
yeah,
changed the livery
basically it's
back to
just
Taro
Toro
Rosso.
Rosso. But actually speaking about RB, they have looked very they have made some big upgrades actually in
Really?
their car. Yeah, they actually had a pretty decent testing. Um I think a little bit better than people were expecting because I think AlphaTauri, actually, sorry, RB took a big step back last season because I thought they would start to compete a little bit more, and
Yeah.
then I just think
They plateaued.
they plateaued massively. I think this whole DeFreeze thing also caused a lot of doubt because I think the car is very capable in getting points or getting P9, P10, and Yuki was
I mean,
proving.
Lawson showed that, right? He was there for 3, 4
Yeah,
races and
Lawson
he
showed
showed
that.
that.
Yuki was, I think Yuki was it was pretty consistent, especially that first half of the season.
True.
And then Ricardo, he showed it a couple times. Also,
Ricardo ended it well, but
yeah,
it's going to be like a difficult, like 6, 7 position right now.
yeah,
But
exactly.
what do you think about the other RB?
Oh
How
God.
are they looking? I'm surprised. I thought everyone thought they were gonna go for the same car, not just me. Yeah, everyone thought they'll just continue with that dominant car, and the RB20 is anything but that. They've actually gone very similar to Mercedes last year,
Mm.
and Adrian Newey is saying that he wants to do something different because the other concept that they had from last year would not have worked now. Everyone would have caught up.
Okay, okay, interesting. Maybe potentially. I think okay, I still think Red Bull looked just too good, and I think this is also going to be a very. I think this is the like one of those seasons where because of the shifts that are happening now with Lewis and Ferrari, all those
Yeah,
things, Ferrari looks to be set with their drivers. Mercedes is not yet set with their drivers. And now I think that there is a potential for this. I think a lot of people are thinking either Fernando gonna come into that Mercedes seat. I wouldn't discount even if depending if Carlos, depending on how this season goes,
I
Carlos
know. Yeah,
Carlos could have a little bit of a say. I think even Perez, if something happens this season or something like that, they want to get rid of him in the Red Bull, they could also come in and stuff like that. So there's some
yeah.
interesting angles. There's this whole Lando angle. And this is where actually
Lando's angle.
this is where I actually want to kind of get into my thing about with Lando. I think. Do you think Lando should, assuming that if McLaren get fourth in the championship, do you
Hmm.
think Lando leaves McLaren?
He can't, right? He signed a contract extension, same as Charles Leclerc, same time earlier
So
this
that's
year.
the three. That's the 2+1 option. The 2+1 kind of.
I think so. Yeah, I think that's what he revealed. So are you saying you think they might have put a clause in the contract that, if if they don't finish a certain thing, then he can kind of cash out or something?
Because the thing is, I feel that last season's performances from Lando were amazing, and I think
Yeah,
that the thing is, you need to kind of keep up with that. But the issue is, I think this Mercedes car, I think this Ferrari looks very fast. Also, it's just that
he looks good.
these top teams now are taking some big steps, and I think this is the potential. I say this now, and I feel I'm going to eat my words later, but I feel this is the potential for just some more battle up and for that first spot. I think I just
Yes,
have that feeling where there's a little bit more. The gap is still there. There's still a gap between Red Bull and all the other teams, but I feel it's closing up.
it's narrowing.
It's narrowing. It's narrowing now. Um, so interesting. Okay, let's do
Okay, let's
Ferrari.
talk.
Ferrari.
Yes, that car looks good, man. That car is looking.
That
I'm
car
just
is
talking about
looking.
the aesthetics.
That car is looking good. I don't know. I don't know how I don't know how I like how to approach it because I think Mercedes have a serious shot at taking second at the constructors
Yeah,
championship. I
Mercedes looks really weird though. They look like they have that Formula E car. It just looks
Yeah,
really weird to me.
yeah, 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 I agree. I think that there's always expectation on Ferrari. Every single time I think we talk about Ferrari, also there's always expectation over expectation. There's this, there's that, and stuff like that. But I think for this year, it's gonna be so weird because one, you've
Yeah,
already said goodbye to one. You're saying goodbye to one driver. I'm hoping Carlos is because I think Carlos will still want to do well because I think he still sees himself like having a seat in F1, and
yeah.
do still see him having a seat. I think it would be a not great. I think Carlos needs to stay somewhere within the top four
Or
teams.
four.
Yeah. Um,
Hmm.
I'm just not sure. I just really don't know where this is where like especially where Carlos is gonna go if because he's if he decides to leave if you know after he leaves Ferrari, what is he gonna go into where Ferrari provides
Sauber
engine? Yeah, is he gonna go to
before it becomes
Sauber?
Audi.
Yeah, Audi. Is he gonna go somewhere else? It's just does he want to leave? Maybe come back to the Red Bull program potentially? Does he want to come into?
That's a possibility instead of Perez. He's more consistent than Perez. I'll
Mhm.
tell you that. And he could be a very good rear gunner if
Yeah.
that's what they need.
So replace Perez with Sainz.
It's a possibility, dude. I mean,
Yep.
there were pictures of testing where Carlos Sainz Senior was having breakfast with the Red Bull management, Horner,
Interesting.
um,
Interesting.
Adrian Newey, and what's the doctor's name? Helmut Marko. Oh
Oh,
my god,
yeah.
never mind. So going into Bahrain, which team and which drivers are you most excited to see, and who are you most scared for? One each, yeah.
One each. Ooh, that's tough. Okay, so so we go with driver
Team
first.
first, okay. Driver
Oh,
first,
or constructor. We'll go constructor. We'll start bigger first.
okay.
Constructor. I'm expecting so that we're picking our winner. Is that it?
Or you could pick someone from the midfield who will do really well, like a P5 or something.
Interesting. Okay. I'm expecting okay, this is a weird pick. I'm picking McLaren.
Okay,
I'm picking McLaren. I think they're gonna start well. Because I feel like they have good habits.
momentum.
They have good habits from the second half of the season that I hope kind of carries on. And the driver, sure, we'll double up with McLaren. I'll pick Piastri. I'll go Piastri. Yeah.
Piastri,
We didn't even talk about
okay.
Piastri actually. Yeah,
He's just quietly enjoying it, dude. He's
yeah,
just consistent
exactly.
as hell.
Very consistent. No, like I like honestly, there is nothing much to say because he's doing. I think he's just like one of those guys. Doesn't say a lot. He's doing great. For whatever he's given. But I do want to see him really compete. I think that
Yeah.
Lando's 100% the number one driver. That's what management's going to push and stuff like that. But seeing more, maybe some more actual like in race fighting between the two of them might be kind of
It
interesting.
would be fun. They're
Yeah,
both aggressive.
they're both very, very aggressive drivers. And that's gonna be a sight to see, I think. So I'm picking McLaren and Piastri. How about you? How about you pick your winners? Then I'll try to think about my losers. No,
Okay.
yeah,
I think losers is going to be common, so we'll finish with that. But
yeah.
uh, my winner, I'm actually gonna pick Ferrari, but I don't want to pick a Ferrari driver. When I
Oh,
say Ferrari, I feel like they have a chance at winning, but they've done this before. So it could just be like start of the season, they get everything in place.
yeah, yeah.
My my driver though, I really am looking at Hamilton because he's facing a lot of criticism right now.
Mm.
And as much as we are not fans, or I'm not a fan of him outside the racing world, when it comes to the racing track, I know
Yeah,
what he can do,
he-
and he's got a point to prove now. So people are questioning if he's still going to perform at the highest level for Mercedes. So I think that just gives him that extra edge to
Mhm.
go out and even beat his future employers Ferrari, because they have a shot this season.
Yep, yep, yep. Um, okay. Yeah, I think the Hamilton pick is very smart actually. I think he's going to have a good season. For some reason, there's something telling me that I think he's going to finish off really, really well. Maybe even the eighth. You never know. Maybe even the eighth championship. Let's see.
Ooh.
Uh but my losers,
Haas, they're
I mean,
not even bring.
Haas is obvious. I mean, that's an obvious answer. I'm talking about like a midfield, like maybe someone who's underperforming.
No, no, no. The reason I'm saying Haas, right, is because you know what they said before testing? They said our aim is no, no, not even testing. During testing, they said our aim for the Bahrain race, forget testing, is not to get points or not to finish on in the midfield. They said our aim is to understand how the tires work. Are
What?
they from the Flintstone eras where
What is
tires weren't
wrong
a
with
thing?
Haas? No, they keep they make these statements from time to time, actually, and it's so I. That's why I feel that the honestly, I don't meet a lot of I don't think I've met really a Haas fan or anything like that. But like it's like my God, that's just that's tough. That's tough when you're especially for the drivers. And they still have two good drivers.
They
They're
have decent drivers, guys who've come P3, P4 in the. Hulkenberg used to be best of the rest once upon a time. So
yeah,
he's,
the guy who could never win, but like still he would be very consistent in the points. So
yeah.
and that organization it's on a clock and I'm kind of still surprised that they're still here after so long.
No,
uh
I'd rather have the Andretti team come in. They've been trying to come in F1, denied them entry. Now that's a professional team that knows how to win. Haas, on the other hand, he's like, oh, I run a NASCAR team, so I'm just going to apply the same concepts here and not really give you any money. Like,
yeah,
dude, what?
it's dumb. So yeah, I mean Haas is the obvious answer. If they're making statements like that, that's you're shooting yourself in the foot straight away. But my answer is probably going to be Alpine. I think
I was
I
thinking
wouldn't
so.
think Alpine. I think Alpine. um I worry for Alpine because I think that they're going to come lower now in constructors, and I think I think Aston Martin have to look at Alpine as like as the base. We got to beat Alpine, and then we're not doing good, but we're doing like respectable. And then they can start battling for top four and whatever and go from there. But Alpine, I think they're running a big risk of Williams RB now. That
Yeah.
some good strides in testing starting to leap them.
Sauber, we were not sure. Sauber is a bit
Sauber
iffy.
not yeah, Sauber still I feel that they don't look very I think from a positional place, I think they still look pretty much where they are from last
Yeah.
season. And but also hey, we get the China Grand Prix back. That's pretty cool. So Zhou Guan
Sure
Yu,
it is.
yeah, Zhou
Sure.
Guan Yu, he gets his home race. Honestly, it's kind of cool. I think it'd be kind of cool to see a race in China because we haven't seen a race in China now in a couple years. So some of the old and nostalgic-ish races from the
That
2010.
is true. I mean, that track has its own nostalgia. It's not the
Yeah,
best racetrack in my opinion.
yeah.
I don't really enjoy it, but
It's a
Yeah,
part of
fair
this.
enough.
It's a part of the season. It's part of this. So like I feel like there's always gonna be sprinkled in like some tracks where you're not a huge fan of, but you're like, okay, that's normal. That's it. Yeah, not like 5 races in the US or something like that. Or
Yeah, I
whatever.
mean, there's gonna be one that like there's gonna be one more, not just one. There's gonna be three, but like there's gonna be one more coming next year or something.
Yep.
But we'll see. That
Mhm.
we will talk about that as well. So
Yep.
yeah, I think that's a good place to end it off and look forward to a hopefully more competitive season.
Yeah, hopefully. I feel that this midfield battle is competitive enough. It's got enough, but I think the top, I want to see a couple. Like we need more wins. I think they need more wins
Yeah.
from their teams and stuff like that. If that's the first kind of thing that really needs to see if we want to see this as competitive. But okay, wait. Let's do this. Who do you think is going to take the championship, and who do you, at the before the season starts? Who do you think is going to take the championship? In your opinion,
Mm, I am no same as last year.
same as last year.
Uh,
That's how I was going to
yeah,
go. Also, I think teams are going to try to come close, but I feel it's Red Bull. I think they're just too good right now. After all these
yeah.
changes and regulations that have just been put on, they've
No,
just
they're already working on the 2025 car. They don't care.
the resources they have is just almost it's feeling kind of like infinite now with the amount of money
Yeah.
that's kind of going in there.
No,
So
and good on them to do that. Amazing, amazing stuff. I
yeah,
mean, they deserve it.
exactly.
But for the sake of F1, hopefully someone comes to compete with them.
Yep, exactly. All right, guys. Okay, we'll catch you in the next one.